Oops, there we go. Now I would say welcome to Boss Rush because now you can hear our voices. Welcome. Yay to Boss Rush. It is June 12th, 2026. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and we are back here in the studio and yeah, just jumping right in. Of course, it was just hectic jumping in today. Well, how is it any different than any other live stream that we wind up doing? But yeah. My name's Chris Melisinos. I'm the host of Boss Rush here every week. And joining me today, who we got with us?
That's Dean talking. Oh, he's so quiet.
Editorial director.
He is very quiet, isn't he?
Yes.
I'll get you pumped up there, Dean. Let's see.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's see. How's that? Is that a little better, Dean?
Hello. I don't know.
It's the same.
I can't hear myself.
Oh, I can hear. Don't worry. We'll get your
Uh-oh.
I'll get your volumes hooked up there for you. Looks like Dean has a new headset on too. So
It does. Oh, maybe that's why it's quiet. Maybe
Yeah.
we need to eat the microphone.
yeah, you do need to eat that mic. Well, that's Dean, by the way, who's got a new headset.
Dean, by the
and a new mic.
Cool Pokemon shirt.
But I'll get his number. I'll get his.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go. That's a little better there. And also joining us, we have.
Hey, it's Mark Delora. I am the head of content and strategy for GDC and GameDeveloper.com and other stuff. Nice to see you guys.
Amongst.
Had to think about that new title. Huh?
There you go. All right, Dean. Now I got you. Now I got you. Woo! Yeah, it's nice to be back after being away doing some traveling. We're going to get into all that good stuff.
Hey.
But Susan is unable to join us. She apologizes and sends her best to the community here. So, yeah. Well, why don't you guys go ahead and just kind of help me fumble our way into starting here. I'm still waking up a little bit, and I'm going to go and check audio levels and check in with the viewers. So. Why don't you all?
Well, obviously, the most important news this week is the remake of Ocarina of Time. I don't know what else happened this week.
Yeah. Nintendo had a nice direct session with what was it? Dozens of games. But yeah, they closed it out with the talk of the Ocarina of Time. So.
Yeah, they did. We know that our good friend Amir Sadfat is somewhat satisfied with that, but he really does want that Wind Waker,
Wind Waker?
So,
really?
yeah.
There are people who like Wind Waker more than Ocarina of Time?
Oh,
my God.
okay. See, now those are fighting words. I never thought I would have to actually say that there may be fists to throw right at the next conference between Mark and Amir, but
It's okay.
here we are.
Like, people can differ. How was the rest of Serious Games Fest? Serious Games Fest.
Oh,
Summer Game Fest for you, Dean. You know where I'm
Well, it was a very, very good Summer Game Fest. Lots of games, dozens of games announced during Jeff Keighley's show,
Nice.
but so many more other indie sessions and events like the Mix and all that, where other smaller games got announced, and then also the Xbox showcase was very good this time around with things like Halo, Gears of War, just really big games coming this year that they had to talk about. But then the glow from that for Xbox kind of got ruined a few days later as Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, broke a story about how there may be more Xbox layoffs coming, thanks to the new Xbox CEO coming in and evaluating things, Asha Sharma, and so she's warned their whole staff of their low margins that they have now, and that they have to reset how they're doing things, because this one of the things they said is this cannot continue, right? And it comes after a layoff every year, the last few years for them.
Yeah.
So I think there's trouble ahead, and then at the same time, yesterday Ubisoft also announced a few hundred layoffs as well at different studios. That's expected because they still have a very large number of people on staff, and they're still reconciling how to sort of maneuver into this sort of new way of building games now. But yeah, that kind of took some of the the wind out of the sails.
Yeah.
Where everybody came out of the show feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at
per
all these
your
awesome
article.
games that are coming.
Yeah. Per the article that you posted here, right, and the numbers that came out there, Xbox spent $20 billion on content investments in the last 5 years, not counting $68.5 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. But during the same period, their consoles lost competition with Sony. Xbox's profit margins dropped to 3%. Right, going forward, this can't continue, and that's obviously she's making a lot of really bold moves, right, to kind of save the business and right size that. But now it's kind of running up against the wall of everything that's happened over the past few years. So it's heartbreaking, right, for friends of ours that are impacted and business that's getting impacted. But the realities of having to pivot such a large business for health and growth going forward, it's a complete restructuring. So, yeah, and to your point too about Ubisoft, with their restructuring as well, it's. I mean, what else can I say that you all haven't written about or people that are living through it right now? I mean, it's.
Changes are afoot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still.
And still going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a regular part of the transformation of the industry that's happening every year.
Yeah. It's interesting though, like the difference between those two in particular, like thinking about Xbox, it's not that something has changed at Xbox, it's that the leadership has changed at Xbox and is looking at it with different eyes and different people and different priorities. And so they're making decisions going forward, like the structure, the people, that's been the same for a while. And then you look at Ubisoft and Eve's been there for forever. And they're weathering the storm and kind of trying to right the ship for this publisher that's been, I don't know, 30, 35 years. How many of the big companies are left, right? Activision and Blizzard bought up into Microsoft, and Take-Two's still around, Ubisoft's still around.
Yeah, you have Capcom and Konami and...
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of interesting contrasts in that group of companies too. Like Capcom is just on a roll, right? And when they announced Resident Evil Veronica, everybody was going nuts and bananas, right? And so I think that was the very first game announced at the Summer Game Fest, and they have had multiple big hits, and they're delivering great on the Resident Evil franchise, and they started the new one with Pragmata as well. And so that's a company that is really executing on delivering AAA games. By contrast, there's others that are just landing without great effect. And one of the reasons I think Xbox is in this particular fix this year was that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was largely a failure this time around, and that kind of uncovers a lot of problems that are sort of in the whole system there. And I think one thing that Asha is doing, is disclosing more about the performance and function and in a transparent way about Xbox's actual results. And so the actual profit margin is not something they talk a whole lot about every quarter because there's just so little that they're required to report about like a subdivision of the larger corporation, right?
Yep.
But she's choosing to sort of present the stark, numbers like that 3% margin number, right?
Yeah. I mean, this whole cycle has been dominated by Sony.
Yeah,
but
Well, yeah,
They've been investing. I mean,
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard purchase was an investment into the future of the company, and as an investment, to me, I feel like that necessitates that the revenue and like the profits you're going to see are probably going to reduce for a while because it's an investment. So at what point do you start cutting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all difficult decisions. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm watching. I really appreciate the transparency. It's nice
Yep.
for her to say out loud, like, we're gonna have to make some changes. It's just so difficult. you
Yeah.
know? I wish I'm.
And she's prepared to call out, things that were not great strategies, I guess, right? And one was to spend the $69 billion on Activision Blizzard in the first place, but also then spend an additional $20 billion on other acquisitions, right?
Right.
And that is really turning into a larger write-off of some kind that where they're really not getting all the value that they expected for that amount of cash, and that's pushing them towards a situation where they may have to really do what a lot of the other companies have done, which is to push out all of the things that are on the margin, coming from the small studios that don't make a big difference, but sometimes take up a fair amount of investment cost, and then focusing in on the franchises that really can move the needle for them.
Yeah.
So expect more Forza and expect more, Call of Duty or resources going into those things, and maybe less going into something like Double Fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, looking at it from a long-term perspective, right? They went ahead and pivoted their strategy to something that didn't work and didn't invest where I think their biggest competitors were, or biggest competitor, right? Let's face it, Sony was placing those bets, and now they are trying to course correct. And we know that when that happens, right, it costs exponentially more money, it costs exponentially more effort, right, to kind of reclaim what you lost and then continue building forward. So, we want more competition and platforms and places to play, and we all have friends at all of these companies, and so, wishing them all the best, right, for a turnaround and can continue building on Xbox. So, Bowser is just chewing that microphone.
He's going for it. Woo, gotta keep that head away from the microphone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. One more big thing that sort of happened in the last week really was everybody set the dates for their games coming out, right? And
Right.
so that happened with Sony, it happened with Xbox, and a lot of the other Summer Game Fest games, and Nintendo with their Direct as well. So everybody has come out with all of the sort of slate schedule, and it turned out that September is completely crowded with games. And so just yesterday, Valor Mortis, which is a brand new franchise from One More Level in Poland, they had to reset from September 24th to October 13th because 3 other games landed on September 24th when they were planning to launch.
Crazy. I do want to bring up, the fact that Summer Game Fest, I mean, take a look at the schedule that unfolded here in the first half of June. Any one of these events would be like something that everybody kind of rallied around and talked about for days. 4, 8, 12, 16, 17 different principal events all happening. That's just, it's insane. It's amazing, right? And it's amazing. And it is really awesome to see all of this come together and, allow people to view this without actually having to be there too. But my goodness, just incredible.
And are those the official side events as well too?
Yeah, this is the Summer Game Fest site.
Because we had one that was not an official site event. We just scheduled it for June 4th, and we had a nice turnout for ours. As
Yes. Well, these are
so-
the
Partner
game, the
showcases.
partner showcases, right? All the game showcases and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
not all of the other individual things, right, that were going on there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's the equivalent of an E3, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
and so E3 is kind of back, but not in name, I think, really.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we have a bunch of comments that are popping up here in the chat. Hello, everybody. So glad to see everyone getting engaged there. Yeah, other companies, of course, that are still going concerns, Electronic Arts and Krafton, Nexon, Tencent, right? So still a lot of, companies out there doing it. So yeah, it's just it's hard for those of us that have lived with an Ubi, right, for all of these years, just to see everything that it's going through. But yeah, it's
I had a good time actually playing a fair amount of games. And like Jonathan Blow showed up with a puzzle
Did you
game.
show us nice.
Really?
Yeah. So he's
been
got
working on
this
that for a
game. Yeah, The Order of the Shrinking Star. It's a puzzle game coming for Nintendo Switch 2 and also
Nice.
Steam, but possibly other things too. But he's been working on it for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
it's got 1,000 puzzles in it at this point as well, and it's like a narrative puzzle game really, and it's pretty amazing. The gameplay is interesting, but also just the whole effort behind it. Is
Did you play
so
through The
stunning.
Witness?
It's like I played some of The Witness, no, I didn't finish The Witness.
No.
For sure.
Mark, how about you?
Yeah.
I finished it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It's good to see him coming out with more stuff. It's super
I'm
smart.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't a
Yeah.
lot of games that make me excited these days, and I'm like, oh, that's going to
What?
be really different and interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, there's so many. I mean, did you look at the list of games in the primary Summer Game Fest video? It was
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff I love, but it was so many sequels. So
Yeah,
many
I played-
sequels.
I played the Halo Campaign Evolved demo as well, and
Yeah.
that was pretty awesome.
Mhm.
There was a surprisingly very good game from 1047 Games called Impulse, and it's essentially the Titanfall we didn't get, right?
Nice.
And so, almost it's got wall running, it's got all kinds of jumping. You can get into a mech and just eviscerate all of your rivals. So it's a team-based shooter, but
Cool.
it was really fun to play.
Nice.
And yeah, so I think playing these games, I think really it was kind of a nice welcome part of the whole fest.
Well, hold on a minute. You actually play games? You don't just write about them? What are you talking about?
Yeah, sometimes when I have time.
What?
man.
When do you have time?
I don't have time to finish The Witness, right?
On airplanes. Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
no.
I didn't play other games for months. I hear you.
Oh, Matt here in the chat says, I may be in the minority, but Day of the Dev Showcase was way more exciting and
Oh, yeah.
engaging than any of the others.
Oh yeah, that's always so good.
Yeah.
Do that more often.
Yeah. Every time it's at GDC, I love seeing the Day of the Dev stuff, right? Super creative, no sequels, right? It's just, inspired game development storytelling. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
So,
look through those.
yeah. All right. Well, listen, since we're talking about studios, how about Paramount's new game studio that
Yeah, how about that?
seemed to have come out of nowhere? It's super surprising,
Yeah.
but focused
Is it?
on AAA, right?
Yeah.
Discuss.
I mean, they had some things going for a long time, like Amy Heddig's,
Right.
Marvel
Skydance
1943 game. Yeah, the Skydance games are part of that. But yeah, they're sort of recognizing that games is a large and important division within this larger entertainment conglomerate. And one of the things they announced the Last Ronin, which is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game that got a good reaction, I think. because it's a very dark version of the turtles, and based on a very popular sort of graphic novel. And then they also announced something that I did not expect to see from Star Trek, which is a Star Trek horror game that's being
Oh
worked on
yeah,
by Bloober Team, right?
yeah.
So the Bloober Team is the masters of horror, and they're making a Star Trek game now. So very interesting
Yeah.
for Paramount to come out swinging like that. They have an Avatar fighting game coming as well. So.
Is the real horror in the Star Trek game to find out that the Millennium Falcon takes out the Enterprise? Does that count as horror?
In your dreams.
They made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Which is
it's great for a garbage scow.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. So it'll be interesting to see another big player, right? Putting more money behind all this stuff. So,
but we didn't write about everything. We wrote about lots of things that just caught our attention, and I think we came out of 4 days of work there with 60 stories done.
Woo! Dang.
Yeah. A bunch from Xbox, but also more than that if you think of what Nintendo and Sony also announced, right? So so yeah, very good stuff coming.
Yay!
Yeah, our good friend Richard Brown there in the chat says, "Hey, journalist Dean, find out if the Marvel game is still with PlayOn. Paramount are doing great. Sean is a very smart guy." Agreed. Agreed. Yes. Let me see. Darren Gladson also just said Chris ... 4 dots. So I don't know what kind of trouble I'm in there, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. What other big news do you guys have on the tops of your brain? I've been traveling, and then I was sick for a good chunk of the week here. So,
and you missed this
radio voice down the lower register.
No, this I've got one that's for you. I got to get a link, so I'll send it to you.
Oh, here's a piece of news. Look at this fancy Nintendo Redmond shirt that I got at the Nintendo headquarters.
Nice.
My good buddy Scott Hawkins got me into. So it's like, yes.
I just sent you a link, Chris. You'll like this one.
Oh,
nobody else will, but you'll like it.
Okay. And you just sent it to me in
the Video Ninja chat.
Oh, okay. In their Video Ninja chat here. And let me see. What did Mark do here?
I'll talk about this report I wrote about this morning first. There's a survey out from a company called Mello that tracks game freelancers.
Oh, yeah.
And they said 95% of game dev freelancers report a better life after going independent instead of being on staff somewhere.
I know. If you don't have a boss, it's so much more fun. I have to read this report because I was like, yeah, I totally agree with that. When I don't have to report to somebody, and it is way better than I also need to raise money.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sure that's not what it says, but that was my.
But more than half of them want to move on to establishing some kind of studio or agency of their own. But many are also quite happier with the juggling of work, and perhaps not as worried about the notion that you can't find your next gig, but just so much more agency really than to work for somebody else, I think. So
I totally agree with that. I mean, that's why I did consulting work for so long. It's just like, even if I'm not making as much money, I feel like I'm learning more. I have more freedom. I can control my own time. All those sorts of things. So
I was surprised. surprised to see that actually a lot of people did not complain about how much money
Oh.
they were making as well. That it
Maybe
was
they're better at that than me.
relatively steady work and kind of sustainable when
Right.
it came to the money side of things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. Lots of other.
Well, I have
little
a
things here.
link to one of your
Go ahead.
articles, Dean, that Mark shared with me. And Mark, no surprise that this one piqued my interest.
I thought Chris would love this one.
Oh,
Me
not
too.
only that, but I've got some surprises for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Play Gamma releases web games industry map to show off the ecosystem. Yeah.
Look at all those companies. Look at all those people.
What can I?
So
what can
exciting.
I say? And
I'm
I'm
just
like,
gonna, try to find all these. I need links. That's what I
yes,
need.
yes,
So I don't
yes.
have
But
to
then it's
Google it.
also, we know. It just seems the rest of the industry just kind of hasn't figured it out yet.
Well, it seems like, for games industry broadly, I feel like the middleware market is sort of dried up and congealed around the engine makers, right? The tools that do exist are smaller, or they're like, you talk about audio and everybody's like, oh yeah, I use Audio Kinetic. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, what engine do you use? Well, it's either Unity or Unreal. Okay. What do you use for 3D modeling? Oh, Max or Maya. Like, we need,
Yeah.
where's all the little companies doing crazy stuff? And here they are. I was so excited to see this.
Yes,
Like, what are they all doing?
But look, this is something that we've talked about for a while now, right? Which is about the middle tier of the industry dropping out and everything rushing either to the big engines or to big studios, or completely, right, open source, people just, forking different, Git repos and doing all this other stuff. And that middle tier just kind of disappeared, right? As the gravity kind of ran to the edges. And I think we're going to start to see that stuff.
All
come
these
back.
companies are going to the space too, where they don't have to pay a 30% fee.
That is correct. That is correct. And so I do love, right, that they talk about the existing industry estimates. Estimates put the global HTML5 and web games market anywhere between 8 billion and 23.4 billion annually.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm like, yeah, I know we keep yelling about this. Like, what's it going to take for people to figure this out, right? The web games market is huge. There's still no shared understanding of how the ecosystem fits together. So here's what happened. When I saw that article this morning, I said, you know what? Let me see what I've got here. So here's a presentation I gave at the Java conference in 2000.
Oh, no.
Okay. And when we talk about accelerating the pipes and big changes and how do you chase your audience across those devices, right? We talk about how fast everything is going to be growing and where network performance is growing. And accelerating devices like cell phones and PDAs and home appliances.
On the previous page and this page.
And then here, look at this clip art that we had to use back in that era, right? No AI art there. How are you going to chase your audience across all those devices? It's going to be the freaking web. So here's the game APIs. This is 26 years ago, Dean. Okay? So when we talk about, where did this kind of exist? This is the stuff that we were pushing people towards. Stuff that you may not know is that these were all games using Java for web. Vampire using Java. Like, it was just every time I see those pop up again, that this sudden realization, I'm like, yep, it's only taken, a quarter of a century, right? To kind of.
Oh, no, we're going to have the same conversation in 10 years.
Right. Right. But then I was like, well, let's see. Do we have any more of those numbers going back to 1999? So look, I am a pack rat of information. And this kind of stuff. And so, you want to talk about where that is? Here we go in casual gaming back in 2000. Moving all Hasbro board games to the web, right?
Yeah, the problem, like the fundamental problem, I think, is like game discovery on the one hand, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then
Right.
also the platforms on the
Right.
other, and the platforms have the discovery uh, uh, available on their platforms, and if you try to escape from that, then you go into the world where there's no discovery,
I see.
right?
I
Yeah.
disagree. So let me ask you a question. In a world where you have over 1 million games that sit inside of a mobile platform, who's getting discovered? The people that can pay their way to the top, that can get those customer acquisition costs, get the money in to do that. Yes, of course, it's always better to be inside of an ecosystem where that can be funneled to the top. But the notion that because I'm in the storefront that I'm going to be able to be discovered is just not true, right?
Right.
And so what we have to start thinking about are what are the motivators that enable discovery? And I always go back to the greatest affirmation, right, of a piece of content for me is, did my family link me to this? Did my friends or my community do that? Like, first and foremost, that is the primary one. Then everything else kind of filters in, and recommendation systems and stuff come out of there. So if we're thinking about where this future lies, or it's not the future, right? It is a piece of the broader ecosystem. What are we competing with? We are competing for attention, we are competing for discovery, and we're competing for low friction. So if everything, or rather, if not everything,
I think it's exactly right. I mean, Dean said discovery, but I think it's shorthand for the whole suite of things that's provided by these platforms.
Right.
Like if a bunch of these folks in the web games market map were to team up and have an effective and low friction pathway from game creation to game discovery to how do you generate money, give me an easy flow. But one of the big issues with Web3 for me was everybody always asking me to set up a wallet before I played the game. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's got to be low friction. And boy, I was like, Epic is great at that, and Valve is great at that. Sony and Xbox, they're great at that. And a lot of these companies are not great at that. Like the one that pops out here that is like, oh, of course, is Congregate. Like Congregate was fantastic.
Yeah.
In providing that sort of easy, low friction flow.
Yeah, but what's the single easiest?
Also, there's like a really big conflict of interest in the structure of the industry too, where platforms have the self-interest in getting everybody, all the game companies, onto their platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not making advances in browsers.
Of course
in
not.
a way, like, I mean, Apple is actively, just hobbling its own Safari browser, right?
Yeah.
So that games don't run on it in the best way, and there are efforts underway to get something like Unreal games to run on the web, right? And this should be quite doable, but it takes dedicated resource, and one of the problems the web has had, I think, is that the platforms, which include things like the consoles, right, have always raced ahead with technology, right, to do much more elaborate memory-intensive games than you can do on the web, right? But when you look at now, like, it's been 7 years since the last consoles really hit in a big way, right? We do have a Switch 2 now, but the tech may not be moving as fast forward so that the web can never catch up, right? I think the web can catch up at this moment.
Oh, sure.
And,
Dean, nothing but violent agreement. Right? Except for the fact that we also then say things like, yeah, but I can't run a triple A game on there. Of course you can. In fact, when Mark and I were working on a project together, my goodness, 6, 7, 8 years ago now, we were already running UE4 games inside of multiple browser tabs simultaneously, and they just work, right? But a lot of that was the friction that you talked about. It was the playground, who controls economics coming in and out of there, and then also how do you build the right economic framework around those things to be able to capture stuff that just sits out raw on the web. But here's the thing, and then I'll get off my soapbox on it, is the closest thing that we have in our digital world to a Babelfish is the damn browser. There is a compliant, hardware accessible HTML5 browser on everything from potato Android devices to, the top end devices. And because we've seen in the past few years, really the past 7 years, this increasing adoption of just baseline standards, right, for access to memory, access to GPU, access to audio, it now is a viable platform for this. And not everything, that captures the world's imagination needs to be AAA. We talked about this before. When you looked at something like a Minecraft versus a Call of Duty, you go, well, one is certainly a AAA, development. The other one managed to build a AAA audience without looking like a AAA game. Like, what do you want, right? As a content creator, it doesn't always have to be a render crushing game for it to be massively important and accessible to people. Look at the web. So I love Polygamma. Thank you for bringing this up. Yes, I'm going to be digging into that chart.
And if you want to get involved in games on the web, you should go to w3.org/community/games and join the games community group.
Yes.
Body. It's a great group of people.
Yep.
Nice.
And of course, Richard chiming in with the hopefulness here is another quarter of a century, and it may finally happen, right? So, yes.
maybe we need to recalibrate our expectations. Maybe it already has happened. I mean, I play games on the web now and then. They're just right. They're very good.
Yeah. In fact, my son mentioned to me, we were talking about some web stuff the other day, and he's just like, I used to play, was it Cool Math Games?
Cool Math Games. That's
he's
right.
He's like, back in school, that was the GOAT. Like, everybody loved that.
Played that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My nieces play that all the time. I don't know if it's still there. It's been
it is. It is. We jumped on, right? He was home from tech.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, lots of stuff.
Right. All right.
What else is up?
Those are the big ones that I have here for you.
Yeah. Let's see.
I've been meaning to look at Fable.
Fun.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, there was a funding today, which I haven't seen on this level in a while, but $8.5 million raised. And it's a company in Germany called WeLevel, and they are sort of going all in on AI and games, and pointing to a lot of the things like, benefits for gameplay, like emergent behavior and smarter NPCs, but they're doing it in a way that is not sort of based on a very expensive, token transactions that are coming. Fast and Furious, and they've been working on it for 5 years as well. So they raised $8.5 million. Transcend Fund, Shanti Burgos fund, led the investment in it, and Shanti is always very thoughtful as to what they get behind, and it's like the first investment out of a fund that's dedicated to AI and games for them. It's their third fund, and they were only able to get a third fund because the first two did well, right?
Yeah.
So very interesting company in this respect, that is making a combination of a survival game and a city builder game, and then populating smart NPCs into this city builder, and I think they have a platform that they think that can be used by other companies, and so that's why they got the large investment. But they've raised 15 million so far, and you just don't hear of that kind of thing every week these days, right?
Yeah, that's a good amount of cash. Congratulations, that's awesome.
Sorry, I cut you off. Was there something you were going to mention?
I've forgotten.
That was Bowser just jumping in to say, by the way.
I'm sitting here staring at the Star Wars Droid Tycoon.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Article. I know. Star Wars.
What'd you see? Yes, exactly. I was like, huh? What was that?
It's a Fortnite
Oh, okay.
Experience.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Fortnite? I wanted to call
Yeah.
it Island or something, but Fortnite experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars. I haven't played it, but the article says 1.5 billion play minutes in the first month for Star Wars Droid Tycoon. So obviously, I need to go play this. Maybe after
Yeah.
this call.
Looks interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I should also mention too that I didn't mention, I did a couple of posts about this, that I was over in Helsinki to attend and to give a talk at Supercell's Games First Summit this year, which was, what a phenomenal event that was. Supercell, just all of the colleagues and friends that I met over there, thank you all so much for just taking care of the speakers that came out there and just the community that was there. Everybody couldn't have been lovelier, nicer, engaging. It was just awesome. And then we got a chance to see, I think it was 15 different companies got up to do these fast pitches of their indie games and the stuff that they're doing. I gave a talk. It was a variant on the talk that I gave at GDC. This is closer to the final form of my thoughts, which was, everyone was just so gracious, and I think it was pretty well received. But what was super interesting for me was there was a panel that was held by a variety of game developers in different countries in Africa. And they did a panel on developing in kind of that part of the world and some of the constraints that come up and the things they have to be considerate of. And it was just fascinating. Like you get spoiled by, you've got this always on power and the internet's always there, and I've have access to all this information, and so now I just go ahead and build. It's like, yes, you have that. They have access, in different countries to the same type of information, except sometimes the power goes out. Sometimes these things are, sometimes the economics aren't there. And it's like just a whole different, way to, it was an incredibly eye-opening panel. And the discussions that I had with the people running these companies were just amazing, just so passionate about video games and art and music and storytelling. And I just walked away, just blown away by, all the things that they're doing there. And so I encourage when Supercell releases the videos from it to definitely watch those sessions, because it was just extraordinary, very inspiring. And I had the absolute best time. Absolute best time. I got sick coming back, like I said, so.
Deep voice.
But other than that,
Nice. Glad you had a good experience.
Yeah, it was great. It was truly wonderful. And the crazy thing though, this time of year, it stays light outside till like 11:30 at night. That is the weirdest thing. Like walking around outside in like the city square, and people are just out there having a picnic at 10:30 at night. You're like, what? What is going on here? But it was great. It was really great.
You get to see some of the northern lights as well.
No. I spent time catching up from a little jet lag, and then making sure my presentation was polished and solid. And then, of course, being with colleagues there. And but it was just really, really extraordinary. So I did find the last person to do the keynote at their last event was Trip Hawkins. So I'm like, okay,
nice.
I got to make sure that
tough shoes to fill.
Yeah, except I ended with the EA Can a computer make you cry ad, of course, right?
Yeah.
So
all
good. So all right. So what else we got going on here? I know we got a 15-minute mark right now.
I know we've run out of news. I mean, mostly run out.
But there was one other big news thing here that maybe we should go ahead and touch on too.
Yeah.
ESA asked lawmakers to consider video game replicas when drafting the no fakes law. Dean, can you talk to us a bit about that?
Well, I think that they creating like the versions of someone like James Bond, I guess, based on somebody's likeness is like a regular thing for video games that happens in almost every game now,
Yep.
especially games where they have uh, uh, the actors involved. And uh, this law really is aimed at all of the other things that are happening that are bad now, where actors' likenesses are getting ripped off, or people who are really being sort of put in a position of saying something that they never said, right?
Right.
And fake news, AI generated. Memes being created based on those, and so it's kind of a well-intentioned law, but it's vague enough at this point to create some doubt as to whether game companies will have to defend themselves against the virtual likenesses of people that they create in their games. And so yeah, it's something the ESA is trying to head off before they started going into markup on this bill on Thursday, and so hopefully it's something that they can head off. There was another thing. Oh, you're gonna react to that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was gonna just switch subjects to this ARM GPU technology that's coming, where they're
That looked amazing.
chips that are coming this fall are possibly going to get more like AAA gaming graphics onto mobile devices shortly thereafter. Once those start shipping, and they worked with Sumo Digital to create this game called Neurodon to show off a lot of the lighting effects that they can do with some of this technology now. So it's raising the baseline for a lot of ARM-based devices as far as the kind of quality you can get on mobile games. So that was interesting.
Do you understand what that technology is? I haven't dived into it, but I'm curious. Is it basically GPU or NPU or
A lot of they're definitely like loaded up on neural processing, I think,
Yeah.
and uh, maybe adapting some of the ideas in NVIDIA's DLSS technology into it as
Oh
well.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and so different little tricks to apply that are coming more from like the desktop space really, and they're graduating into mobile, I think.
Yeah.
It's
So
funny. I
something
feel
to
like
watch
there've been
for.
rounds of that. I think I worked with ARM,
Mhm.
gosh, 14 or 15 years ago, and like when they were announcing something similar at the time about having their mobile GPU sort of catch up to desktop GPUs. We were trying to use a commodity game engine to show off the features
Yeah,
and port something over.
and this has ray tracing in it, so it's
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that kind of tells you a little bit about what it is that's in there. So
Right.
I'll read up more on that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really interested. To
Is
hear
that
that.
ray
It's great.
tracing overkill on a 4-inch screen?
No, it's never overkill.
We're
is
going to give a whole new
more-
meaning to phones that are then the pro versions, right? Oh, you got this phone with this. Now the pro, right, is going to have additional, right?
I mean, if you're using AR, right, and you're like looking through your phone, like Pokemon Go style or something, whatever it is that you render, you want it to look as realistic as possible. So
who
trace
actually,
it up, man. Ray
yeah, but
trace.
who actually keeps their camera on playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah, no, there's
There
that.
you go. Right, that is a map game. That's a map game like EVE Online is a spreadsheet game, right?
Oh,
That's right. Shots were fired right there.
Mhm.
I know we've got the last 10 minutes here before.
Sorry, there is one.
Go. Yeah,
other
please.
Good story that happened this week with Apple's WWDC keynote, and they did spend an enormous amount of time talking about making Siri better with artificial intelligence, but they also talked for a good 20 minutes on trust and safety and their effort for protecting kids on the platform level, and I thought this was a very interesting, reaction to the notion that comes from folks like Tim Sweeney which is that all the platforms ever do is collect a tax, right, on all of the apps that make them money from things like games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on this platform level, with Apple deciding, like, as part of their, you know, um, focus on trusted computing and privacy, they're going to do much more to empower parents to monitor what kids are doing on their devices, control who they chat with.
Right.
A lot of the things that Roblox has been talking about, like how they're trying to protect kids so they can deflect all the attention away from all the child predator lawsuits that they're getting hit with.
Mm-hmm.
Apple is also trying on their platform level to do a lot of the same things, and um, I think you can more easily control things, like very simply, like a matter of clicking on buttons or not, for parental controls, like setting time allowances, like how much can your kid play in a day on games as a category, or can you give them extra time on the weekend? How's that
Mm-hmm.
working out? They get real-time feedback on like how much the kid is playing and what they're playing, right? And then they can adjust that, and so making the parental controls much easier for parents to do, and to actually protect kids from things like meeting total strangers in the middle of games, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is the argument that Apple would make, and that is, this is where we earn our keep, right? We
Mm-hmm.
get a 30% tax in, but we don't just put that in the bank, right? We're taking this and we're developing a lot of technologies that work across all of the apps and across all the games, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
the game companies themselves then don't have to make that investment in every single game, right? So I think that's interesting to see this happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're
Love
shifting
it.
right into an
And they're
environment.
heading off regulation and litigation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apple.
yeah. I mean, this in the U.S. though, and that's the interesting dynamic here. Is like in the in the EU, this tends to be regulation driven, and
Right.
then companies sort of adapt to the regulation. The U.S. is regulation light generally for things like this, and so it is incumbent on platforms to drive it. So Apple's probably sees this as a competitive opportunity, to make the platform seem better for parents. And
Yeah.
good job.
Well, I would also say, if you want to take a look at all the other things that have been going on in terms of opening up third-party storefronts and things like that, and it's like, okay, well, what else can we do to entice people to continue to invest inside of a particular ecosystem? Great, we're going to help try to tackle a very serious problem that we should collectively, right, as an industry, be trying to tackle. So, props to them for doing it, right? Any type of tools we can put in place to help families understand, threat, what's happening, and open up those conversations. So, you don't pivot to one hard end, which is, oh, everything gets shut down. You're never going to play any of this. And they're like, sure, until they leave and go to their friend's home. Then you don't have a window into what they're doing. So anything that can help to bridge that communications gap and to give more tools to families to help protect their kids and understand, how they're living lives, right, digitally is super important. So that's really wonderful that they're doing this. Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, well, we've got 5 minutes left on the game side. Do I have even the animation there? We do, yeah. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba games. What are we playing?
What are you playing?
Well, I'm not playing anything right now, but I did see. Well, apart from just jumping in, I just haven't had the chance to. But this announcement came out, and I was like, "Oh, hell yes!" This is what I can't wait to see.
What's that?
Crazy Taxi World Tour, baby.
Nice.
Yes, and they did it right. Yep. I am so excited for this. That was one of my favorite games right during the Dreamcast era, and it's still just so much fun to play today, and Sega's going to be rebooting it. So I'm not playing this obviously now, but I cannot wait to play.
I got to attend a very deep demo with Kenji Kano, the creator of the original, creating this game,
great.
and
nice.
it was very interesting to hear him talk about all the changes that they're gonna take you to 5 different cities. Stasis your taxi. You're gonna try to recover your taxi, and
and it was just fun. I mean,
there's wacky gameplay, and they're like,
of course, it's Sega.
You can go fishing from your taxi. Right?
Just GTA light.
Go out on your pier, fish from the taxi, and then you can reel in or let out more line by moving up and down the pier in the car.
Now, if you can do it as Big the Cat, okay, then we're
and if you do this right, back and forth, then you can catch bigger fish, and then eventually you can catch a great white shark.
Nice.
So I'm obviously
you can also drive underwater, right? And you can actually pick up taxi rides in the ocean, right?
I love it. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Realism is overrated. I'm down for this. This sounds exciting.
So while I'm not playing this, I did pick up Mina the Howler, and so I started playing that again, which is what is it? Yacht Boat Games, is that right? Oh, Yacht Club Games that did Shovel Knight. Right. Yep. And they were like, this one's like a make or break for the studio, and it just is blowing up. It's a wonderful game. They're awesome at what they do. So yes, Mina the Howler, that's what I've been playing. Mm-hmm. How about you guys?
I played one more demo of Stupid Never Dies, which is a company from GP Track 50, started by Kobayashi-san out of Capcom, right? He was like a 27-year Capcom veteran that worked on Resident Evil and all the big games, really, and started his company in 2021 and is showing off this title, and it's just a wacky title. Where there's a girl that you see at the beginning of the game who's frozen and in a freezer, and a sort of weak zombie finds her and then falls in love with her, and his mission becomes how to bring her back to life, and then it's just completely crazy gameplay where the zombie goes around eating folks and demons and bad guys in order to get powerful enough to get on his mission. So
I wonder if they played Shadow of the Colossus. You could swap out zombies for Colossus, and there you go.
Yeah, pretty wacky.
That is awesome.
But I also played the Halo demo, and that was very good. And I'm playing 007 First Light as well.
Yeah,
that's it's really excellent game as well.
I'm looking forward to playing that too. But I'm like waiting for. I know it sounds terrible. I'm waiting for the Switch 2 version to drop.
Oh yeah,
just because I can take it with me and play it elsewhere. I don't have a portal and stuff like that. So
it's not a short game. It's gonna be 20-ish hours, I think, by the time you're done.
Yeah, that and the Batman game too. I was gonna wait to pick up there. That's just,
oh man.
But it's not coming out till like September, October or something. I was like, come on, let's go.
You could play Lego Batman now.
Yeah, but not on the Switch 2. It's not out yet.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not out yet. I was like, come on, let's go. How about you, Mark? What are you playing, buddy?
Well, I've been just jumping into Arc Raiders off and on, but yesterday I met up with Michael John. Some of you guys.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about things. He said he was playing Peak with his kids a lot. So I might go back and play a little Peak, which I've done a little bit, but not much. But he mentioned a game called Anton Blast, which I have not tried yet, but I am currently in the process of downloading. He said it's a little rough around the edges, but like gameplay wise, amazing. So was like, okay, it's like the MJ seal of approval. I'm down. So I just like bought it and downloading it.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I need to get Titanium Court too. It looks like it's another one I need to look at. But
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, so many
Well,
things.
I think. Oh, we look at that. We are over our allotted time here today. So yeah, it went really fast. I'm so glad that we had Dean and Mark with us today. We're sorry that we were missing Susan today, and hope everything is going well there with her and all that good stuff. Yeah, every Friday that at least I'm here in the studio, or if I have my shit together when I'm out on the road, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. Thanks for joining us every week. Make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you go ahead and send them the link. I'm also going to be firing back up the Boss Rush page on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has finally now allowed me to get a stream key just for Boss Rush, so I don't have to keep renewing them every week, but they all have to live there. So we're going to start building up the archive there, and that's where all that stuff's going to. But that's, those are details I'll share with you as I go ahead and build that stuff out. But that's going to, again, go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Thanks, everyone, for spending time with us. Dean, Mark, thanks to you all as
Always
well.
a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we hope you all have a great rest of your day and an awesome weekend. And we'll see you next week. Thanks,
play some great
guys.
games.
And gals.
All right.
And gang. And everybody. Bye. Woo.